Yeah, set reminders to study. Sometimes we take it for granted that we get study time, but reminders probably won't hurt. I think adding different sounds to them is important, though.
Mm-hmm.
Reward yourself with a treat. Well, that means taking the dog for a walk. It's not just giving you a bone. But why not? I mean, a healthy treat, of course, too. But not something like a game, because if you have trouble transitioning, if you gave yourself a treat like a game, then you're setting yourself up for a problem and not success, I think. It takes a fair bit of honesty for that one. Right. I like this next quote that comes from, How to ADHD, Jessica, and her friend, not Dr. Holloway, but that other comedian. They always say, start, just start. And after 5 minutes, you're okay. You'll be fine. It's a bit like that first swim of the season, or perhaps even that first ski of the season. You're a little bit nervous when you get up to the top and going, oh, gee, I hope my body remembers what to do. And as long as you just start, once you overcome that, it starts to come naturally to you and you forget about it. Mm-hmm. Anything you want to say about those?
Definitely having those cues and having that accountability partner. If you're able to do it with a friend or getting your parent, to help remind you and give you that transition time, giving you that verbal reminder that in 10 minutes, in 5 minutes, this is what we're going to do. Having, what I find, having a checklist, just doing a check mark is reward sometimes, and saying, yes, that's done, check.
I love the crossing off.
Yeah, exactly. You're crossing off your to-do list, and that can be very rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just taking that first step off the cliff, right? Off the ledge.
Well, maybe taking that first swim, but yeah, all of that.
Yeah, no, but it can be overwhelming, and again, that's where the anxiety can come in, right? Just starting and worrying about it not being perfect that first time. It doesn't have to be perfect, right?
That's right. Yeah, you're not going for 100%.
As you get, the muscles moving, and like when you start running, you don't start running at your top speed, right? You warm up into it. So even if you have like little routines that you can do to kind of get you in the homework frame of mind, whether it's, working on a Sudoku for 5 minutes or a crossword, or just something to set yourself up, like those little stretches to begin before you start studying, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And whether it's just getting one of those super easy Sudoku books from the dollar store, right? Or a coloring book or something, just to kind of reset your brain. Also having maybe a study CD, or I guess a playlist, a study playlist.
Oh, you right? Old school thing, you.
Yeah, I'm ancient. But music that you listen to that kind of gets you in the zone, and it's not the stuff that you're going to be dancing around to, but you could have I remember President Obama had this song that he'd play to himself to kind of rev him up for talks, right? So if you have this study song that gets you ready, gets you in position. I know for myself, when I was competing horseback riding, I had a song that I would sing in my head just to get me on the right pace.
Yep.
And I could just play it in my mind and know that I would have my horse at the right speed, not too fast, not too slow, but at a good speed to be competitive, and then be safe, right? And just get in that zone, and that set me up to succeed, right? So if you have, a study song or a routine that you can do to get you ready, and that's where, again, the Sudoku or the crossword or a maze or a connect the dots, whatever works for you.
Working on your model or whatever it is, your Lego or your...
And again, that can be part of your reward or your break session. Okay, I get to do, 5 more words on my crossword. Or that can be your token. That's like, okay, yes, I did this. Okay, 5 more words on the crossword. I can color for 3 more minutes or something. For the kids who like the fancy coloring books, the adult coloring books.
They're fun. I like those.
Yeah.
I do like those.
Or doing a maze. But it's better that it's not an app, right? You don't want an app because then you get that suck in. It's better important to have that a paper pencil task.
Look, it's about being honest, isn't it? I mean, you know you're going to be distracted. So just be honest with yourself. And
don't get angry when you do get distracted. Just reset and refocus. Like, okay, I've had my X number of minutes. Now time to reset. And having a timer, like a visual representation of the time, is very helpful, I find. Right?
Yeah, look, I think some people love it, or some people hate it. I do like the visual timers, but sometimes the countdown can be a bit much for people. But getting to know time and embracing time as your friend, I think is so very important, even though it's about being honest. Again,
I think it goes with that. Remember, start ugly, start badly, but just start.
Yes.
You can do anything for 5 minutes, right? And if it's an assignment, in a subject that you're not good at and you really don't like it and you really don't want to do it, you can discipline yourself to do it for just 5 minutes. And then after that, reassess. Like, you know what? I don't like it, but I actually am kind of getting into this and I can focus for a little bit longer on this. But giving yourself that 5-minute limit, that you have to put 5 minutes of actively trying it.
Yeah.
Not just twirling your pen or, stroking, I don't know, your cat that's sitting beside you and trying to help you do homework. Thinking how you want to be organized.
I used to say to people that you should start with the thing that you don't want to do first, get that out of the way, and then you can move on to the thing that you enjoy most. But I've heard some people say, no, you know what? I'm better off starting with the thing I do want to do, because then I can just get started into the rhythm. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it all depends on an individual's mood and what they have to do. Here, a lot of teachers will say, this is your work. If you finish it in class, you don't have homework. But if you don't finish it, it's homework. So say if I only had like 2 questions left and it was going to take me 5 minutes, I'd want to start with that, because then it would have that reward of taking something off the list.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. So that's kind of how I approach it and looking at it. I like to get students to kind of estimate how long it's going to take them to do these assignments and what they need to do in that study session, so that they can say, okay, you know what, this is going to take me this long, that's going to take me this long, and them to prioritize it because they know what they're feeling that day. And I don't think you can apply one general rule for all settings, right? Like, say you have a longer assignment for one class, but you're really excited about it because at the end of the day, you started, talking about it with your friend or whatever. I think it's more important to do that than to do the one that you dislike first, right? And kind of judge where you're at and where you're feeling, but knowing the deadlines. And I think it's very important to have a visual representation of the deadlines, whether it's using some online sort of thing. Personally, I prefer having a written down in a bullet journal, so I know my deadlines. And work towards those, right?
Actually, you reminded me too of something, an important aspect, back to the retest. If you're doing a past test paper, then you should time yourself as well, or if you're doing sections of it, just so you know how long you're taking for each one. But doing a timed test is also handy. Yeah, but give yourself as much feedback about timing as you possibly can. Overkill. Yeah, remembering the why, I think that is just so important for those kids who are just not motivated to do anything. What is in it for them? You know, if you can't make it creative with bamboozled or memory and matching, if you can't make it a personal challenge, then it's down to the personal meaning about what the content or what the process is going to help you achieve, which is to, sometimes it's just about jumping through other people's hoops. So you can get those doors of opportunity opening and kept open for you.
And one thing that I don't see here, that I'm just thinking that kind of has to do with remembering why, is making sure you really look at what you're being asked to do. And with that, I mean taking a highlighter or a red pen and underlining what exactly the assignment is and asking to, because it's very easy to go off on a tangent.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
especially for the ADHD brain that has all these ideas floating around. You need to make sure that you're focusing on the task at hand and what's expected for the assignment, right? Because depending on the teacher, they may give you the marks for the tangent, but you need to make sure that you're actually answering or learning what you're being asked to learn.
Yeah. So important to explicitly teach that. You know, I do get kids to highlight the verb in the question.